Hey guys, Rachel here. First of all, huge shout out to Megan for getting us off to a great start last week. I'm really excited to be sharing this training with you, and tonight I want to talk about some confidence in selling or recommending. So we're going to go over a little bit about your mindset, how to recommend products and problem solve for your customer, and a couple tips and tricks that I have used throughout the years to help make a sale. So grab a pencil and paper and let's get to it. Okay, so when we talk about mindset, it's very, very similar to how we approach this whole business. We want to be confident. We want to believe in what we're essentially selling to people. It's easy to do when you have these fantastic products to stand behind. But the number one thing that I would tell you guys is that you don't have to be an expert on everything. First of all, there's a lot of products to learn, and that takes time and can develop as you get further into the business. But not being an expert and switching your mindset to being a problem solver for your customer and their skin. So the whole idea is to let them know that you care about the results that they're getting and the products that they're using, and you want to continue to build trust with them. And when you go in recommending something with that mindset, it comes across totally different than just a sales pitch and saying, hey, I have these great products and they do this, this, and this. The other thing that I want to share with you guys is to never, ever assume what kind of value people place on their skincare products and what they can afford. Sometimes you'd be very surprised what people are willing to open up their wallets for. And the last thing about the mindset is I would encourage you guys to try to not get gun shy when people start asking questions. This is the first opportunity for you to start building that relationship and that trust with them. Most of the time when they're asking questions, they're trying to decide if the product you're offering will give them a solution. And secondly, they're just looking for reassurance on the product. So, if it is something that you aren't familiar with or don't have the answer to, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Hey, you know what? I had a teammate that had a similar issue. Let me double check with them and see how that worked out for her. This comes across as more caring about the results and getting them an accurate piece of information versus just standing there and being a know-it-all and kind of riffing off every answer that you know in the book. Okay, so the next point I want to talk about is how to recommend products and to be that problem solver for your customer. Remember, you are not supposed to be an expert, and your job here is to simply find out the customer's needs so you can provide a specific solution for them, and also to be able to educate them on their options. So let's start with the first interaction, maybe someone that you've never approached before about using Rodan & Fields products. So I always like to go into a new interaction using leading questions. What I mean by that is don't start off with yes or no's. For whatever reason, sometimes people are just afraid of engaging in a conversation, and it's no different than like when you walk into a store and someone says, oh, can I help you find something? And you immediately go to, oh, no, thanks, I'm just looking around. Yes or no questions give them an easy out. And when they say no, it's like the conversation's over and it's really hard to get back in there. Of course, you want to lead with excitement. I know we all love the products that we use and even what they can do for other people, but starting off with questions like, hey, do you mind if I ask you what you use on your skin? I've currently been using X product and I'm looking for someone to give me a little bit more feedback. Or do you mind telling me a little bit about your skin? What's it like this time of year? Using questions like that kind of get their wheels turning to where it's not an immediate yes or no. And it allows the conversation to continue naturally. I'll give you a tip too. When you follow up with your current PCs, I always try to include a specific question for them instead of being like, hey, Susie, I'm checking in on your auto ship. Do you need anything? And leaving it open for a blank, whatever they want to fill the answer with. I always pick something that they're using and ask them something specific about it. Like with the night serum, for example, you can say, hey, have you been using your roller with the night serum on a daily basis? I know that that's a 60-day supply. Where are you at on that? That opens up the conversation for you to find out way more information than, hey, no, I'm good on my products. I don't need anything. The point of all these questions is to help them narrow down their main skin concern and give you a direction on what features and highlights you're going to talk about so you can provide a solution for that. Obviously, we have our solution tool and the Team Grit thread, so definitely rely on those awesome resources. And again, if you go into this thinking you're gaining research and you're trying to provide a solution for someone, it makes it a lot easier. After they do respond, one thing I do want to talk about is to not immediately feature dump. The same thing that we tell people with the business is don't word vomit RF all over somebody. Feature dumping, as soon as you find something that they might be interested in, don't just list off everything that a product can do for them because you'll lose them. The whole idea is to paint a picture for them so that, again, you can provide a solution and that product will fit somewhere in their regimen. So the next step, once you have connected on a product or a regimen that they might be interested in, if you've ever been in sales, you may have heard of this. It's called the FAB approach. And this is how you communicate to the customer how your product provides a solution for their needs. So FAB, it's FAB. What it stands for is feature, advantage, and benefit. And I'll break it down for you. Put very simply, a feature is a characteristic of a product. It's an ingredient, it's a trait, whether it's like a smell or a consistency of something. But remember I said these standalone traits don't really provide a solution. So we need to move into advantage. Now, the important thing to remember with advantage is that it is not buyer specific. It's generic. All you want to do with the advantage is explain how the features work and what they do. The benefit and the final statement in your approach is what's going to paint the picture for your customer, how this product is going to provide a solution. And one thing that I will tell you also is that it's only a benefit when the buyer says it's important. And I'll give you guys an example. And I'm going to go ahead and use the eye cream because it's a very popular product. A feature of the eye cream is that it has peat moss, optic filters, and peptides in it. The advantage is that it addresses all three eye concerns in one product. Now, the benefit for your customer is that they will see smoother lines, calming, under eye puffiness, and it will also help to lighten and brighten the under eye area. And just remember that the benefit that you choose to focus on is what they narrowed down as one of their main skin concerns prior when you were asking them all of your leading questions. So just keep that in mind for a good place to start. All right, now let's move into some tips and tricks, and then we'll get this wrapped up for you guys. First thing is, don't be afraid to go for the gusto up front. What I mean by that is if you really feel like a regimen and a tool is going to be their best bet to get the results that they need, start with that. It's a lot easier to recommend the largest possible product and price point, and to kind of downgrade it to a level that they're comfortable than it is to start with like a regimen and add in all these extra pieces, because in their head, the price point just keeps ticking up and up. Another good tip is to phrase things like you're looking out for them. So let's say you recommend a regimen and someone says, oh, I only want to try, 1 or 2 products just to see how they work with my skin. Don't be afraid to push back a little bit. You can say, hey, our regimens are really intended to be used all together due to our multi-med therapy philosophy. And, you can start with X product, but I'd be afraid you might not see the results that you're looking for. So this would be my recommendation for you. At the end of the day, they're essentially going to decide what level of products they're comfortable with. However, it's the same thing as your original product recommendation. If you have, I don't know if you've noticed, if you've had a customer that maybe did try 1 or 2 products up front, they're a lot harder to move into a full regimen after the fact because they haven't been using everything together. And yes, their skin might feel softer, but they're not getting all the benefits from the full regimen that we recommend and see every day with all the other customers that are using them. One other thing you can use to your favor is to talk about the pricing. Now, remember I said to recommend a regimen and tool up front, but you can phrase it where you are trying to save them money. So I don't know if you've done the math, but actually when you bundle those items together, they save almost $100 or like half a regimen. I always say to people, if you're thinking about a tool at all, it's just best to invest up front because of the money that you save alone. This gets them started off on the best foot to get them the best results and to keep them as a customer. And they also are not aware that they can still get this deal later on, but it's a lot easier to just start with everything up front. This also works with your current PCs and their auto ships. So if it comes time to reorder and they say, hey, I only need these 3 items, I'm getting way backlogged on cleanser, it's actually cheaper just to buy the whole regimen instead of buying the 3 items individually. So I always tell people, hey, I'll take that extra cleanser off your hands, or give it to a friend. It gets the product, into somebody else's hands that you can later follow up on. And also, again, comes across as you looking out for their money and their checkbook, which a lot of people really appreciate. The last trick, and kind of an obvious one, but I like to use the essential products as add-ons to fill up their buckets to get them to $80. So let's say they are only ordering one product and need a few extras to fill in. This just gives them a chance to try something different. And again, they can receive product for their money instead of just paying for shipping, which they appreciate. I know we covered a lot tonight from the mindset, be confident, use your resources. You don't have to be an expert on everything. Just try to be that problem solver for your customer and provide a solution. We also talked about a couple different approaches that you guys can use and a few tips and tricks to help upsell your orders as well. So just want to say thank you for, watching this video and training with me tonight. Post a quick takeaway in the comments below. And as always, if you guys have questions, feel free to give me a shout and I'll follow up. Thanks. Have a great night.